Okay, this video is going to be covering math in JavaScript. So we've already seen some basic stuff. Like last video we saw plus plus. So counter. So we could do counter plus 1. This will return 1. But that doesn't actually change the value of counter. Counter is still 0. If you want to change the value of it, you have to say counter is equal to counter plus 1. So this is basically an expression over here that will get reduced to 0 plus 1, which gets reduced to 1. So it's like saying counter is equal to 1. So counter is equal to counter plus 1. Now counter is 1. And there's actually a faster way to do this, which is just counter plus plus. Counter plus plus, it does the same thing. And I want to show you a variation of the plus plus, which is, let's do this here. So counter plus plus is returning 0. But if we look at counter, we could see that it's 1. Well, why is it 1 if you're adding 1 to it? Why is 0 getting returned? So what's happening is it's returning the value and then it's adding the 1 to it. So if you wanted it to add the 1 to it and then return a value, you would do plus plus counter, which now this is going to return 1 and the value of counter is still going to be 1. Now it's going to be 2. Okay, great. Now multiplication. Counter is equal to counter times 2. And that's going to make it equal to 4. You could change this to whatever you want. 8, 16. Okay, but similar to the plus plus, you could do counter is, you could say counter times equals 4. So this says counter is equal to counter times 4. 8. And also, come to think about it, you could do the plus here too. So plus equals, whoops, extra semicolon. So if you wanted to add more than 1 to counter, you could just do plus equals. So plus equals is the same as counter is equal to counter plus 100. Both of these do the same thing. Notice that this one has an extra semicolon and is less repetitive. This one, you're declaring the variable twice. You're using it twice. So if you look now, it's 102. So let's get rid of this one. And let's do counter times equal again. Let's do 1.5. Let's just do 0.5. So that actually makes it smaller. And there is also a division. If we do counter, I'm not even going to show you the long way. It's just the same as before. Counter is equal to counter divided by, you could do divided equals 2. And then you get 25.5. And actually, I don't like that. So let's do subtraction. We could do counter is equal to counter minus 1. But a better way is just to do counter minus minus. And there's also minus minus counter, which works the same way. The difference is the same as the plus plus. So now if we look, it's going to be 25. Okay, the next thing is the modulus. Modulus is something that it's not really simple arithmetic. The multiplication, addition, subtraction, all that stuff, that's really basic arithmetic. The modulus is something that you might even not have heard of before. It's like dividing, but getting a remainder instead of a fraction. So for example, like if you have 10 divided by 3, the answer is 3.33 repeating, because that's 10 divided by 3. But a modulus would be like, the answer would be 1, because you take 10, you subtract 3, then you're at 7, you subtract 3 again, you're at 4, you subtract 3 again, then you're at 1, and then there's not enough to keep dividing, so instead of dividing the 1 by 3, you just get the 1 back. So you're not getting a fraction, you're getting a remainder, and that's what modulus is. So if you just do 10, the modulus looks like this. It's the percentage. So 10 modulus 3 is 1. And this is commonly used to check if a number is even or odd. So let's just write an if statement that checks if the number is even or odd. The number is odd. The number is even. So what we want to do here is we want to take counter and do the modulo by 2, which is going to get a remainder. So if the remainder is 0, that means it went into 2 evenly, which means it's even. And if it's not 0, that means it's 1, that means it's odd. So let's see if counter is odd. First though, okay, let's just log counter before it checks so I can know what it's checking. I mean, I didn't have to actually move that, it would have been the same thing. So it says 25, the number is odd. Okay, so let's see now. 24, the number is even. Okay, so that's working, perfect. The next is the exponential calculator, and that is looks like this. So it just, you know what, let's make counter equal to 2, just because exponential numbers, they get bigger so fast and it's sort of hard to keep track. So let's get rid of all of this. No, I want to keep the console and just get rid of the if statement. Okay, so 16, actually I can get rid of all this stuff right here. Okay, so what this is doing is it's just multiplying it by itself. I believe that's what it's doing. It's multiplying it by itself that amount of times. So it's like 2 times 2, which is 4, then times 2 again, which is 8. And then if you do 4, it'll be 16. And then it basically just doubles every time. So that's what it's doing. That's what exponential means. Exponential means it's just going to double every time. So 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. It just keeps going on forever. So if you did, let's try 20. It's going to be a huge number. Yep. And if you just add a few more to it, exponential growth is known as it's like really, really fast. Like if you just add 29, just add a few numbers to it. So let's do 30. So basically we just doubled 2. Like 2 is a small number and 30 is a small number. We just doubled it 30 times and it's equal to this. And if we doubled it 60 times, I don't even know if it'll actually be able to give me that number. Okay, it could. It's really big. I wonder how big it can take me though. Yeah, so here it just it can't even show me how big the number is. It shows me this notation for it. And the last thing is the order of operations. So the order of operations is just BEDMAS. It does the bigger calculations before the smaller calculations. So multiplication and division, they could be done in any order. It doesn't matter. You could multiply and then divide. You get the same thing. But you got to do your subtraction and addition after it, or else you'll get different results. So this is just basic stuff. I'm not going to go too into what order of operations is, that's for math. This is just JavaScript, just showing you how math works with JavaScript. So it's the same thing. If you do 10 plus 2 times 2, it's going to do 2 times 2, which is 4, then plus 10, so 14. So it's not going to do 10 plus 2, which is 12, times 2, which is 24. You're not going to get 24. If you wanted to, you have to put brackets here, because whatever inside brackets will get evaluated first. So this will get evaluated to 12, and then 12 will go 12 times 2, which is going to be 24. And yeah, so you could use as many parentheses as you want. You could do like, whoops, I meant to do an extra one there. So you could do like 2 times 100 divided by 4, and whatever this is going to be, 120. And then you could do all this divided by 3, or you could do it on this side. Let's see what this is going to be. 40. I thought it would be a fraction or something. Anyways, okay, so that's going to be it for this video.